Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco, dish out on the movie.
And I am taking over.
Good.
At this point, I was like, I am taking over. We are reviewing Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves. This is the third movie in the Honey series. That's what I'm just going to call it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, beat that. Complicated Karen, or Complicated Cameron. Anyways, this was actually the first movie in the series that I watched. We went to Hollywood Video, and I was like, oh, that looks like it could be good, or I don't know, it might have been Safi who recommended it, because she was familiar with the first one. And I watched it, I really loved it, I thought it was a great movie, it was a lot of fun, comedic, it was just really, really good. I've watched it a lot of times, because it'll always be up on YouTube once in a while, in parts, and I'll just watch the whole thing, and then forget about it, and then every couple of years, like, oh yeah, watch it again, I watched it last year, it's so much fun. And, you know, Safi was almost going to say it was bad.
Well, I kept getting interrupted, and then my phone, it kept stopping, and I was frustrated.
Well,
so I wanted to watch it in its entirety.
I was getting my laser cannons ready when Safi was saying, like, I don't like this anymore. I was like, Safi, shame on you.
Oh, God.
Because, like, you know, you can say anything, but just, if you don't like this movie, I don't understand why people don't like this movie. Like, I know that it's a kid's movie. It does have some problems. But it's a fun, funny movie. It's inoffensive in terms of, like, there's nothing too terrible about it. Like, it really feels like a sequel to the first movie.
Yes. Compared
to the last one, which feels like just complete trash. And I think for a school curriculum, it would be a great sequel study to teach students, to show them the second movie, and then show them the third movie, and say, look, this is what's happening nowadays, where people who don't even care about the movie series, they get access to making sequels and remakes, and so then they make trash. You know, they make these terrible sequels, and in this case, Big Baby, that wasn't even supposed to be a part of this series. And it's so reminiscent of how nowadays they make these terrible things, terrible sequels, like, or just remakes or anything. Like, you know, the new Fallout series is terrible looking, and it just feels like people who aren't fans and don't really care are making it, and it felt exactly the same way, but for this one feels like it's actually a part of the series, and it's really good. I don't understand why we couldn't have gotten another one with the better characters, like Amy and Nick. Why couldn't we get, like, a fourth one, you know, after this one? Like, I don't understand, like, what were people expecting, too? Like, they corrected all the mistakes from the last movie. Like, they brought it back to shrinking people instead of making them bigger. They had the story be a lot more intimate and smaller, so it's pretty much just in the Zelensky house, which is now in, where is it, Safi? Pasadena? They're now living in Pasadena. Although, like, last movie, they were supposed to be living in Nevada, but apparently they were in Simi Valley, which I don't know what that is.
It's in California. It's Southern California, I think.
But yeah, they corrected everything from last movie. They even brought in, like, an Amy substitute with, you know, young Allison Mack is this girl. I can't remember her name. And then also her brother. So, you know, they tried to make, like, a movie that was truer to the first movie, and instead of people, like, saying that it was good and liking it, people just pretend it's bad now. And you can see, like, even on Letterboxd, it has a 2.5 out of 5. I mean, how does that make any sense at all? I mean, especially compared to the last movie, which is like the Antichrist. You know. Safi?
Yeah, and the only remaining cast member back for this version of the Honey movies, is Rick Moranis. And even the dog has passed away, which, you know, this was done in 1997.
And this is also Rick Moranis' last movie until he quit acting so that he could be a father instead for a while. So I thought that was cool too. You know, I mean, this is a great last movie for someone.
Yeah, and it was sad too. His wife, the woman who played his wife in the last one, Marcia Strassman? She's not in it. They replaced her with a lady named Eve Gordon.
Now, that was one of my least favorite things about the movie, because I really did not... I mean, I think that the actress is good when she's, like, just regular, like just normal, but the way that she was in this movie, she was very, very loud and annoying and obnoxious. So... that was one of my least favorite things, you know. I definitely preferred the original wife.
Yeah, it's a shame she wasn't in it. And then the little boy is the little boy from the last movie, but not really. A different actor.
Yeah, he looks nothing like him, but it is a famous actor. I mean, he's infamous in children's stuff.
And he did a good job.
Yeah, he was good.
In fact, I liked him. I don't know what the other little boy would be like.
I didn't like him as much as Nick, but I still liked him in general.
Yeah, Marco says that Nick is on the cast list, but unless he must
No.
No.
I said that the brother was, but or for another movie or something in the series, but I'll check again.
Okay.
Because maybe I was just mistaken.
But we didn't see...
No, he wasn't. Never mind.
Okay, we didn't see him or anybody else, and of course we didn't see the dog. But basically, the stars of it are Rick's brother, or I should say Wayne's brother, and his wife, and then his and then the woman who plays his wife, Diane.
Yes, Safi. The stars are the adults.
Those are the main, because it's Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves.
Yeah.
And the story is, do we want to say it now? Or?
Well, let's just get into the review, because, like,
okay.
First off, there's a lot of fun little things that happen. Safi, talk about some fun things and talk about your reaction to them. Like, what did you think about when the kid is like, we're out of peanut butter, and then Rick Moranis goes in and he gets some peanuts and he puts them in the coffee grinder. and like, I just, that's what I love about this movie. I love all the little things that are really funny that are just sprinkled throughout the movie like that. Like, that was really, really funny.
Well, I can understand. I saw him turn the coffee grinder on, but that didn't look like peanuts. It looked like coffee everywhere.
No,
coffee all over the place.
There was like peanut butter, but then there was coffee grounds inside the peanut butter, and yeah, that was just
that was gross.
That was funny though, and I was kind of surprised by that, because it just, I don't know, Rick Moranis, his character, he's having a tough time because he's president of his company, Zelensky Labs. And now let's talk about one of the other things that we didn't like. So he's doing this presentation for these people, and as usual, he's stumbling around and he's doing a bad job. And at the end of his presentation, he drops all his cards, his note cards, which was kind of sad. And then, but he does this really weird thing where the logo for his company comes up, and then he's trying to like imitate the logo. And I thought there's literally no logical reason for him to do this. Like, he doesn't need to be, doing that at all. And it's a really easy logo to emulate, too, because it's just a guy in a running stance. Like Safi could get up and do it right now.
No.
You could if you were a young person.
Hurry. Marco.
Well, I mean, it's easy. You get up and it's not hard at all. And for some reason, he really had trouble doing it, and he was like, I really fucked this up, and he just knew it. And I thought that was, I didn't like that because I thought it was stupid. It was funny still, though.
I guess.
What'd you think,
I didn't
Safi?
think it was necessary.
Really?
Yeah, really. I'm sure they could have done something else to be funny.
Yeah.
I just don't understand, though, because here he is. This is his company. He's made this very famous invention. In fact, the last one, he made another, or some kind of other invention.
Should I just stand in this stance for the rest of the review?
I think he'd get tired. But anyway, so he just doesn't get any respect. And I don't get that. Okay, Marco, you can stop.
Yeah, he never gets any respect. It's like
that.
It's like Rodney Dangerfield,
But
like.
Can anybody have come up with that?
Yeah, well,
idea?
it seems like it's weird because
where is it?
after the first movie, in the first movie they kind of hinted at a reaction when, remember that little kid, the brother of the neighbors. Okay, that's getting old.
I know.
That was hard to do. Actually, I'm really tired. But he was like, oh yeah, you guys are going to make millions of dollars from the invention. And so he was starting to pretend like he always liked them. And I thought it was really weird in the second movie how those people were pretending like Nick was just some nerd when they knew about his father and the shrink ray thing. Like, it's weird. It's like there's no reaction to him having done that.
And it's special. I mean, it's an invention, a unique invention. And like Marco was talking about, it could be used to increase food supplies.
Oh, it could give everyone a home. You could build homes easily. You could do all sorts of things, and it's just like, there's no reaction at all.
No, it's just one of laughing at him and leaving.
Yeah.
So anyway, we get introduced to his brother and his wife, and his wife and Wayne's wife are going to go on some kind of trip together, like a little vacation, and the men are going to be in charge of the kids.
Yeah.
And anyway, Wayne's wife has been complaining about this tiki statue.
Yeah, which was really weird. It's like, it's his money. He's the one who invented a shrink ray or whatever, and it's like, why is she telling him like that it's... And I was like, you know what, like, if you don't like the tiki statue being in the fucking front area, put it in the backyard. And guess what they do at the end of the movie? They put it in the fucking backyard. Yeah, like, come on.
But the thing about the reason why, the way they got shrunken was because he got the shrinking machine back. They'd been in a warehouse in a box. He got it back and he put it in his house, this house, in the attic, I guess. And he got it out because she'd been complaining about this tiki statue, and he thought, well, they're going to be gone. And while they're gone, I'll shrink it so I can carry it with me, like on a keychain, or carry it in my pocket for luck. And that's how the whole thing started, because of this little tiki statue. And in the end, like Marco said, they blew it up. They enlarged it, and it was out in the back, and I think it was even bigger than what it was in the house.
Yeah.
It was humongous.
And I thought you could have done that from the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing with, like, he has to get rid of the tiki statue. I thought, this is stupid. But it was a good reason for the plot to happen. And honestly, his other solution was fine, too. He wanted to shrink it and just carry it around in his pocket, which, it's kind of weird. Like, another thing you could have done is you could have shrunken it and then, like, turned it into a statue, like, for the car. Like, you could have put it up on the dashboard or something.
Yeah.
You know, like, there's just so many things he could have done. And the whole thing with the wife being like, no, I didn't want to take a statue. That's what she's like. That's what the wife is like in this movie. She's like, when? The FDA said that you can't do it. And because she was exactly like that. And for some reason, she's like a joint panel of myself and the FDA have prohibited you from ever using this machine again, even though it's in your fucking attic. You know, like, how are they even going to know if he uses it? But I thought, like, why is the FDA?
And that's one thing we can't figure out, because it wouldn't have anything to do with it.
The Food
and Drug Administration.
Yeah, they don't have any sort of say over shrink rays, shrink machines, anything. So I thought that was pretty bizarre.
Yeah, I didn't understand it. But so anyway, the two women are planning to leave. And now, why did they come back? I couldn't figure out. One of the kids, the uncle's family.
Mitch's mom forgot to leave his medicine with him.
Well, it was there, but it wasn't accessible, and they didn't.
No, she forgot it. Period, Safi.
Oh, I thought.
No.
Oh, okay. What, did she have it with her?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, anyway, they came back. They were leaving. They were on their way out. I guess going to the airport or something?
Going wherever?
Driving. I don't know how they were going to leave town, but they were leaving town. And they came back. And in the process of Wayne trying to shrink the little tiki, a little, like a marble, fell onto the machine while they were trying to find the tiki, because it was so small on the floor they couldn't find it, and they were kind of bent over in front of the machine, and it shrunk them. And then when the ladies came back,
they were searching around for them, and then they got shrunk too.
After they
and
put the medicine
that
in the
ensues the rest of the adventure for them. And we should also say there is another conflict about Adam. And he does not want to be like a science kid. He doesn't want to study like what his dad studies. He's really into baseball. But his dad is just acting like it's a trend, it'll pass, or something like that. And so he doesn't want to allow him to go to baseball camp. He wants to force him to go to Camp Isosceles. Which just sounds like the worst camp in history. Right, Safi?
I don't know what it sounds like. It just isn't any good.
Like a math school for a summer camp? Like, ew.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go. And so, I mean, it's not a terrible conflict, but...
Well, it makes sense, though. The conflict in the last movie, it didn't make sense at all. It was just like, oh yeah, Nick really wants to get with that 6 out of 10... and he's just really awkward and weird, and it's like, that's not a real story.
Not for them. Not for them. I mean, because it's just never, there's nothing, no other hint of it anywhere in the story. It's just out of nowhere. So anyway, the ladies came back, and they got the medicine. They put it in a accessible place in the kitchen. And they go upstairs because they hear...
Okay, no. We already went through that. Don't go through it like you do. Don't do what you do.
Fine.
Don't do that. We're reviewing the movie. We're not...
Okay, well, that's how they
dissecting
get shrunken too. They go upstairs. And so then you have the kids. Well, they've decided to have a party, even though they were told not to. And the party was, I think it was just supposed to be like a, I don't know if it was just for like an overnight or just the girls were going to come over and they were going to dance and whatever.
I think they were going to play kissing games with each other.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think so.
And then they dared.
You have Mila Kunis there. This was like Mila Kunis's first movie, and there's also this little plot where Adam has a crush on her, which I felt like that was a negative too because they didn't never go anywhere with that. They didn't never resolve that.
No, and so you have two boys. You have the little Zalitsky kid, and then you have the cousins. And you have a sister, and then you have the cousins, or not the sister. You have the sister, cousin, and the boy cousin. And so anyway,
really,
they call these boys.
You know, why don't you review it? You know, like
okay, I'm not going to say anything else. Okay?
I mean, like people have seen the movie. You know that they don't need to hear you describe the movie in painstaking detail.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, and so, like, let's talk about, like, our review. Because I would say, like, The Adventure of the Adults, it wasn't nearly as impressive as the adventure from the first movie. But it was still very creative. Right, Safi?
Yeah, they had a couple of insect encounters, which was interesting. One with a roach and one with a daddy long-legged spider, and they got to ride a race car and get jostled around in the laundry.
God, you're still doing it.
And so, yeah, they had a lot of adventures, but the insects ones were interesting, and I think they just had just enough to make it fun and interesting and funny.
I mean, you can definitely tell that it's a straight-to-video movie just by, like, the really small scale of things. You know, it doesn't feel like the first movie where, you know, they're in this huge backyard adventure and it's just like everything is trying to kill them.
No.
It feels like a lot more casual, but still, it's a lot of fun. It's really great. I mean, in terms of favorite scenes, that's a tough thing to say. Like, what's your favorite scene, Safi, out of this whole movie? Because I really liked the part where they float around in the bubbles.
I thought that was really neat.
One of the girls brought a bubble machine, and they float around in the bubbles, and then they fall into the onion dip, and they almost get eaten. And I thought that was a great little, like, redo of the scene from the first movie where the dad almost ate his kid, you know, when he was eating the Cheerios. And I thought, like, that was a really creative thing to do because this wasn't just one guy. This was a group of teenage girls. You have one girl, too, we didn't even mention. For some reason, I don't know why they did this, but one of the girls... Remember that the dog in the first movie... Oh, there's no picture. But remember in the first movie... There was the first two movies, you had the dog named Cork.
Right.
Well, you had a girl in this movie, and she's blonde, and they called her Corky.
Nah.
And I thought, why did they do that? Does she look like a dog? Like, why? Like, why did they do that?
I don't know. She wasn't one of their families. She was one of the guests, right?
She didn't really look like a dog very much. Like, I looked up the picture and I looked back in the movie and I was like, that she doesn't really look like a dog. But, like, why'd they do that? Is she like a dog person?
I don't know. I don't know where they got the name. They don't talk about the name at all.
That's her name, though.
Well,
it's
so
on the
what?
cast list. Corky. I mean, the weirdo who wrote the script. Like, what were they thinking?
I don't know. That is interesting, though. You gotta wonder.
Yeah.
So my favorite part, I have a couple, but I guess the one where they're there's a roach. They have a roach, and it's going after them, and they go hide in the roach motel. And it's you get to see what it's like inside. There's like the sticky residue, and so when the roach is attracted by the scent, I guess it gets stuck in the residue, and that's how you check in, but you don't check out. And so they hid in there, and then the things started going after them in there, and the wife got stuck. So, and then of course they get away from the roach because it's now stuck in there too. So I thought that was fun and interesting. And
well, I thought that it was interesting because the brother, if you remember, he was in that Beanstalk movie, and he was the giant. Remember?
No.
Well,
I don't remember that he was the giant.
Yeah, he was the giant in Beanstalk. And in that movie, it's really funny because the main characters, they get stuck in a roach motel too. They go into a roach motel and they get covered in the yellow ooze. And so I thought it was funny that
I thought we'd seen that somewhere else before.
Yeah, and so I thought that was interesting because he's in both movies. And Beanstalk is another really, really good movie.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
It's a 10 out of 10. This movie's a 10 out of 10. Well, I guess it's like a 8.5 to 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
But I'll give it a 10 out of 10 just to piss people off for pretending like it's bad. Yeah, where is it? Yeah, it's right there, Beanstalk, as giant.
That was good.
Beanstalk is a classic. It's a masterpiece that should be in the Criterion Collection. What?
Marco.
What?
They should have a Criterion Collection that's just for good children's movies. You know, just a separate category for themselves.
The children collection? Well, Jeffrey Epstein had a children collection. That didn't work out very well.
I don't know why you're bringing up that. It has nothing to do with anything.
Well, I thought another favorite part for me, as I said, I really loved all the little things. I really liked the part where the kids had the hot dog volcano, the chili
I like that too.
volcano.
And I can't figure out how that would work.
They put these balloons with chili in the microwave, and then they put them inside the volcano, and then they poked the balloons, and chili exploded out, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, compared to one of those regular volcanoes that you make for science class.
Oh, the regular volcano, you put like baking soda and something else in it. It's a different thing.
Yeah, it is different. I just wanted to know how and wasn't it hot too? It wasn't cold.
The volcano?
With the beans.
I told you they put the chili balloons in the microwave.
There was chili in the balloons.
Yeah, I just said that.
I see. I was going to say I didn't see how it was made, and I wondered how they did it because it looked really good.
Yeah, it looked really tasty. I was like,
these people out of hot dogs.
Maybe we should have this for dinner because it looks so good.
It did look good. Or even chili dogs. I like chili dogs.
And then Allison Mack comes in. Speaking of sex traffickers, Allison Mack came in. Right, Safi?
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's the girl from Smallville.
Oh, okay.
The one who went to prison.
I wondered about that. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Weird. And there's a lot of weird haircuts in this movie, too. Really, really 90s haircuts. And these little fucking dweebs, they had these fucking dweebs come over from the neighborhood. These skateboarding punks. One of them, I thought it was really funny. The main one, Ricky, he was actually the fat kid from Ice Cream Man. And it's funny because I've seen these movies over and over and over again ever since I was a kid. And I never noticed that kid was the same kid. Because I was like, he's really skinny in this movie. he's really fat in Ice Cream Man. They must have, like, put a pillow in his shirt or something. Like, it's really, really weird. Right, Safi?
I guess
But,
so.
like, these fucking dweebs, they had the worst dated haircuts. They looked like a couple of dweebs. And for them to be trying to bully these other guys like Adam and Mitch, like, I was like, what are they thinking? Like, they don't have any self-awareness at all. They're walking around looking like, you know, looking terrible and weird and just really, really weird. Safi?
I don't know. It didn't really.
Really?
I thought they were mean and they were full of themselves, and one of them was trying to kiss one of the little girl, and she said she didn't want it, didn't ask for it.
And actually, I thought that was a good scene. I liked it when he kissed Allison Mack, and then she's like, hey, I didn't want that, you know, just like all my victims from the future. They didn't want it either. And right, Safi?
Well, and the mothers happened to be in the kitchen and saw that.
We should just review Smallville so that we can make fun of Chloe for 10 seasons. And all the, like, the terrible things that, like, really mirror what she does in the future. Like, because it's like, she turned out to be a bigger villain than Lex Luthor.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, but I think one of the best parts was, you know, they're having this party. These boys come over, and the kid gets mad because that girl told him off. So he comes in, and they start throwing. There's 3 boys, right? They start throwing things in the room.
3 or 4, yeah. They start, like, completely messing up their house.
And like, why in the hell are they doing that? And they wanted to know why they were doing it to them, and they wouldn't stop. And Wayne, because he's very...
Well, the thing is, too, is that I don't know what they were expecting. Like, when they got there, like, I don't know, like, what did they want? You know, like, they could have raided the refrigerator and gotten any number of treats. I mean, it's just like, what did they want? Like, I don't understand. It's just really weird.
They're just destroying, being mean and bullying.
Yeah, we've had that before, Safi. You want to talk about that? Or destroying?
Yeah, we had something like that at a kid's party, but it wasn't the boys.
No.
It was girls.
Oh, yeah, we had this Halloween party. I would always make a haunted hotel in my treehouse. And we had these decorations, basically to scare kids when they went in there. They'd see them and get scared somehow. And so these girls, they went up to the second floor. And this is why, like, in all the classic things, it's like there's no girls allowed when it comes to kids. Because it's like, girls just ruin everything, you know, as we found out. Because these girls went up to the second floor in this haunted hotel. And they were just throwing all the decorations off the side of the treehouse.
And breaking them.
Yeah.
I didn't tell their parents.
And you should have.
I know, but I was just like, I was so shocked that they did that. They would destroy somebody's property like that. I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I thought, like,
shocked.
That's what I get for inviting girls to this party.
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah, that was pretty bad. So that's what this was like. And then so you're talking about the thing with the brother and how he tells them to get out. I thought that was really cool and funny. With Wayne hooks up the stereo so that his brother can talk and speak and tell all the kids to leave and you know, he's able to speak because his voice is amplified.
Yeah.
I thought that was really great.
That was cool.
That was definitely another highlight of the movie.
Yeah, he calls himself God. And so, but you know, it's the Father.
And he does do a really good job at being like a godly voice. Like, I would say if I were to cast an actor as God, maybe I would cast this actor.
Yeah, well, they, you know, and you think, well, why those kids believe them or get weirded out by them? Because you couldn't see them because they were so small. So and you didn't know where the voice is coming from. And he knew he knew the parents' names
Yeah.
and what they did, and that was the clincher that freaked him out. And he said, "Get out! Everybody, get out of the house now!" And so they all left. Everybody, even the girls.
Another thing we should mention is that Mitch, the whole movie, the whole dilemma with the medicine, he couldn't find it. It was hidden behind a cereal box after Alice and Mac came home from not sex trafficking. She came home from the store this time, and she put cereal up on the counter, blocking the medicine, which I thought one thing that I could point out is I guess maybe like, you know, she knows that her brother needs the medicine, and so if she saw the medicine on the counter, why would she just carelessly like just put it there like,
Yeah.
you know?
I didn't understand that at all.
But Mitch is like, I feel fine. Maybe I don't even need the medicine. He has some kind of paralysis thing where if he doesn't have like all this extra potassium, he will be paralyzed for like 24 hours or something. Which is really bad because then someone like Alice and Mac will sex traffic you, you know, if you're paralyzed and vulnerable and can't do anything. And so later on in the movie, he's about to die. He's about to keel over. And it's funny because I never knew that bananas had potassium until I watched this movie as a kid. Like this movie. It's an educational experience because it taught me that bananas have potassium. And so they give Mitch some banana.
Yeah, she put it in his mouth and made him chew it up. And
yeah, for once, it was actually a good thing that she put something in a stranger's mouth, or her relatives or whatever. And
Cute, Marco.
What?
So anyway, he had semi passed out. He was very weak.
Yeah.
And she gave him that banana, and that helped him, and he was okay. They never said, did he end up having the medicine, taking the medicine, or not?
I'm not sure. I
don't think they showed it.
He probably had to because a banana's not gonna
last, and they didn't give him a whole banana.
He's not a monkey.
Gave him a couple of pieces to until he could get the medicine. So after all this, and the people are all gone now. There's no visitors. The boy's he's stabilized after having the medicine. The parents, they find out they're there, and they get big again. And they decide, the parents, the tiki statue ends up real big in the backyard.
And Wayne lets Adam go to baseball camp.
Yeah. And the brother, Wayne tells his brother that he should be president of the company because he's an inventor, he likes to make things. And that was the other thing.
So yeah, I thought this is a really good movie. It's really, really good.
It's funny, and there's interesting, the thing, with the shrinking.
It is definitely a kid's movie, though. I mean, the stakes are not as high as in the first movie, which I think just goes to show that studios were already getting to this point where it was like, we gotta de-escalate things, and we gotta make things more safe, and we gotta make things a lot less, dangerous for kids. Like, we can't have a story where these kids might die.
Yeah.
We have to really, really tone it down, make things safe. We got to make a remake of Willy Wonka where we show that all the kids are just perfectly okay and they walk out of the factory because, we can't let children think that anything bad could ever happen. Everything has to be okay. Everything has to be good, and rainbows, and Alice and Mac trafficking you across the globe. Wait, that could happen too. Dun dun dun!
Okay. So, we both
Safi.
We both enjoyed watching the movie again.
I wanna
that it wasn't anything like the last one.
It would be fun to just make fun of everything she's ever been in.
Why?
Because it's funny. It's funny, Safi. Rick Moranis was in a movie with a sex trafficking bitch.
Okay.
That is messed up. Just imagine if you were in a movie 10 years later, oh shit, the guy who played my brother was a pedophile.
Okay.
Oh no.
Loud.
Like, wouldn't that be messed up, Safi?
Yeah. It would be really weird, that's for sure. So anyway,
And
I rated it...
She was a kid in this movie, too. I mean, in this movie, the whole thing is she's being taken advantage of by Ricky, and it's like, but wait a second, it looks like she was the one who liked to take advantage of people. She was the one who liked to kiss people when they didn't want to be kissed. Like, that's pretty bad. I mean, she must have been, in this scene, she must have been turned on filming this scene because she was like, this is what I want to do when I grow up.
Weird.
What?
Who knows what happened. She's a nice little girl in this movie.
Not really. She's even less there than the girl from the last movie. You know, she's like a 4 out of 10.
You're talking about their looks.
Yeah, but I watched the movie when I was a kid.
Okay.
So and that's what I thought when I was a kid. Safi.
So anyway,
I told you as a kid that girl was ugly. Like, that haircut is so gross looking. I hate that fucking haircut, that 90s haircut. It just looks like the ultimate cringe haircut.
It's supposed to be a version of that. I told you that skater.
What skater?
I told you, Dorothy Hamill.
Dorothy who?
Hamill.
Dorothy Hemorrhoids?
Hamill! She got a gold medal.
Hamill.
She was a gold medal figure skater. And but it's not quite that. It's not quite. It's too long.
But that haircut looks good.
Yeah, well, that's the original haircut.
So, but the haircut that Allison Mack has looks terrible.
It's a long version. It's not very good.
Yeah, I mean that's very well done, you know. But like, you know, that's different, Safi. And you know some weird things, like who the fuck is Dorothy Hamill and how do you know about her?
Because she was like one of the... all the Russians had all the skating medals.
Oh, you like Russians, huh?
For years and years and years and years. And then finally Dorothy Hamill came along.
Oh.
She was an American.
Oh.
It was either East Germany or it was Russia. And because they could just devote 24 hours, their athletes could just devote 24 hours a day. There were communist countries, socialist countries, whatever, and they could devote 24 hours a day, and everything would be paid for all the time. And our athletes were on a different system. Now they have things a little bit easier. They can get sponsorship support. They were not allowed sponsorship support. They only could be funded by the federation, the skating federation. They changed all of that. But anyway, she came on the scene. She's very talented, and she got a gold medal. And she was like, broke.
So she was a skater.
Mold.
She was a skater, right?
Yes.
Well, you know, Dorothy Hamill,
skater.
She could skate very fast, probably, but even when skating really fast, there's no way she could escape the terror that is Allison Mack.
Okay, Marco. Well,
and
she's way older.
Global sex cult.
Way older than that girl. Way older.
I want to see a sequel called Honey, I Shrunk the Sex Cult. And it's like a parody of like something, and it's like you have all this cult, it's like Eyes Wide Shut, and they all get shrunk on the Epstein Island, and they have to find a way out. And it's like really intense because like they're gonna destroy the island.
Okay, Marco, let's move on.
What? Wouldn't that be cool?
No. Let's talk about our reviews.
Well, let's talk about what would you want to see as a sequel, because I would really like to see a movie where it's Nick and Amy again, and also the neighbors, like the whole cast from the first movie. I just want to see that. You know, I know that the wife is dead from the first movie.
She is?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
She got breast cancer, and which is unfortunate because she was really good. But I'd like to see that. I don't care what the story would be. I'd just like to see all the people from the first movie again, including the neighbors. If the neighbors aren't in it, I'm not interested. Sorry. And Amy and Nick. If they're not in it, not interested. If you just have that fat clown Josh Gad, I'm not interested. He's trash.
Okay, well, they are working on, well, they said they were going to work on a movie. It's been tabled. They said it was tabled in 2023. In other words, they could bring it back up again. They just stopped thinking about it or working on it or whatever. It's called Shrunk.
Well, I'll work on it for them, and I guarantee it'd be a lot better than the second one. So anyways,
Hopefully it'll be nothing like that.
What's your food review for this
My
movie?
food review is chili.
Oh, what a cop-out.
The reason why, because either a chili dog or just chili, because it really looked good. And we've had some really cold weather in the last few days, and it really hit the spot to have that nice chili. So that's what I would give it. What about you?
Well, this movie is like a camping type of movie. It's a fun movie where it's like, that it's not a great movie. It's not like the Citizen Kane of a kid's movie, but like it's a really good fun movie. And s'mores are really great and fun too. And it's very simple. You just have the graham cracker, 2 graham crackers. You have the marshmallows, the chocolate, and it's perfect. It's delicious. It hits the spot as well. That's what this movie is to me. Because, like, it is the dessert of Rick Moranis' career because it was his last movie. So far.
Yeah. Huh.
There is a video of him getting punched in New York by some random black guy, but, that's not a movie. That's just horrible real life,
Wow.
Right, Safi?
Yeah, he's just walking down the street.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. I was like, and people got really upset too, like, honestly, like, if that happened in Ohio, I would join a lynch mob to find the guy who punched Rick Moranis. Like, if it was anyone, like, I would join
A lynch mob?
or like a monster squad or something, like get like my sword in my room and just go after whoever went after Rick Moranis to get him, because like anyone who goes after Rick Moranis deserves like the death penalty to me.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Rick Moranis is one of the good ones.
I think Marco's just kidding. Don't take him seriously. It is kind of strange. I've never heard of anything like that.
No, it happens. People just randomly attack people. It happens all the time.
Weird.
Anyone. In any place. Including Safi's right now. Safi could just punch herself and she'd be...
Okay.
she'd knock herself
Marco's
out.
He's I don't know.
Well, I don't like doing reviews this late in the day. I like doing them early in the morning.
Well, we've been working on taxes. It's tax time.
Yeah.
I had to do them. I had to get them in.
Yeah, but we watched the movie like yesterday, and so like...
Oh, I only watched part of it yesterday. I had to rewatch the whole thing this morning. I've already mentioned that.
It's a very short movie too.
Yeah,
it's only
not very long.
It's an hour and 10 minutes.
And it has a lot in it for that short of movie too. And it's very complete. It's a complete movie. And you don't really have to come up with any story or anything, explanation. It's all there. So, okay, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and become one of our subscribers if you can take it.
Take what, Safi? Take what? Allison Mack kidnapping you and putting you in a sex cult?
Oh, God. So, goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.